Alrighty. So, okay. So today I will be interviewing you for my speech language pathology assistant class. And I'm going to go through a number of questions, just answer them as best as you can. And then I will write down some answers on it. And if you do not feel comfortable answering a question, just say I don't have an answer for that or whatever. So first we are going to start with identifying information.
Okay.
And so the first question is, what is your name? Just first name and then your last initial.
Carlos C.
Carlos C. Second is your date of birth.
April 29th, 1998.
98. Next is the age that you currently are.
20.
Number of siblings.
1.
1. Languages that you speak.
English.
And this could be on any, you don't necessarily have to be fluent in it, just
Spanish.
any language you have some exposure to.
Spanish.
English and Spanish. What is your home spoken language?
Both.
Is there one that you speak more than the other within the home?
English.
English and Spanish. Okay. Okay, next we'll go over it's called the statement of problem. And this is talking about what particular speech difficulty that you've encountered and things like that. So what is the nature of your communication problem that you have or had?
Stuttering.
Stuttering. And it's just stuttering, that's the only issue you've ever had?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the severity of it was?
Pretty bad. There were certain letters definitely that I would always stutter on. Constantly.
Do you remember what letters in particular?
W.
W.
S.
S.
P.
Those
That's it.
Those were the ones?
Yeah.
What caused the problem? Do you know what caused it, or if it was just something that had always been there when you were younger?
It's always been there.
Had just always been there.
Yeah.
How old were you when you can first remember having a stuttering problem? Kindergarten?
Whenever kindergarten was at, yeah.
Kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's when you noticed the presence.
Yeah.
Do you know if your parents said that it was any earlier than that?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
I don't know.
Okay. What reactions did you have towards the problem? What were your reactions with?
I would say frustration. I really wanted to speak freely, but I would mentally I was very conscious of what words I'd have to choose.
Okay.
So I was a very cautious speaker as a kid.
With the words you choose.
Yeah.
Okay. What were the circumstances, if any? Did it become better or worse? Were there certain situations where you noticed that your stuttering would become worse, and then situations where you felt like you didn't really have it as much?
When I would get nervous.
Okay.
The rare times where I would get in trouble, definitely, my stutter would come out in full force. That's when I really noticed it.
Were there certain situations or people that you'd be around where you didn't worry about it as much and you talked more calmly and smoothly?
My mother.
With your mom? Only your mom?
Only my mom.
Okay. We're already on the same page. Is there any awareness of the problem in the individual? Like you're obviously aware of it. Yeah. Okay. That's probably a question because this could be child or adult. So some parents, they said if we had like a younger kid, parents could answer for them. So the parent probably be like, oh, they're not aware of it.
Sure.
So obviously you're aware. Kind of adding to that, was when you became aware of it, was it something that your mom or dad told you about, or did you kind of catch on your own?
Oh, I knew.
You knew something.
I
wrong.
knew it was me
Okay.
first. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other relatives that have some sort of speech problem or even a hearing problem? And what is your relation to that individual? If you know of any other family members that have something, whether it's a stutter, or maybe they wear hearing aids, have a hearing problem,
Not to my knowledge.
Not that you know anybody in your
No.
family with that.
No.
Yeah, sometimes, when one family member has it, it's a little more common for
Sure.
another to have something along
Yeah.
those lines. A lot of times people don't even know that they have it, even if it's like something along the lines of dyslexia or stuff
Mhm.
like that, like just a receptive problem. Okay, medical history. Medical history. This is more just, were you a healthy kid? Because sometimes that has to do with
Sure.
things like that. Did your mom, to your knowledge, have any difficulty with her pregnancy?
Not
That
to my
you're aware of?
knowledge. No.
No. Were you carried like the full 9 months? Were you a premature baby?
I was actually a post baby.
Post baby.
So yeah, because
Post-baby.
I stayed. I was in. I was there for 2 weeks after the expected due date.
Okay. So you're definitely good there.
Yeah.
Are you currently on any medications if you feel comfortable sharing? If not, don't worry. And does this medication in any way have a purpose related to speech?
No.
No?
No medication.
No medication. Have you ever had, describe any illnesses, accidents, injuries, operations, or hospitalizations that you've ever experienced?
When I was 2 weeks old, maybe a week old, I had surgery. On my stomach.
Oh, I remember.
Besides that, never got into any accidents.
Are you comfortable sharing what the surgery was for?
I would keep on throwing up my food,
Okay.
and so I was not getting any nutrients, so I could have died. So that's what the surgery was for, was to fix that problem.
And since then, no other injuries, breaking arms, legs.
I've had
anything?
a good record.
No
Never never broken anything.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a history of ear infections by chance?
No.
Never had ear infections?
No.
Have you ever taken a hearing test by chance?
I can't recall.
Not that you can recall.
Yeah.
Never taken hearing test. We're actually going to do this really quickly. Next is your developmental history. What were the developmental milestones, such as sitting up, supporting yourself, walking unaided, potty trained of the child? What was like your developmental milestones? You had all those?
Yeah.
Perfectly fine, didn't have trouble with any of them?
Yeah, everything was good.
Okay. Did you have a problem speaking? Did you speak later than normal?
I did speak a little bit later than normal. I can't give you like a time frame age wise, but my parents have constantly said that I spoke a little bit later than the norm.
Okay. So except for talking.
Yeah.
That was a little delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you happen to know when you produced your first words or sentences?
I do not.
No.
I don't.
Now we're going to go on to your education.
Okay.
Okay. What is your current grade in school?
College.
College. You are in your third year?
Second year.
Second year. This would be your highest level of formal education obtained. 2 years of college. Do you receive any special assistance programs at school? No?
Nope.
Okay. Have you had any grade retentions?
Nope.
No. What are your best subjects?
History, English, I guess languages.
Both written and oral languages. You feel like anything surrounded around
Pretty
written
good.
and oral?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And then anything, any type of like public speaking class.
Sure.
Yeah.
Around speech and written language.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your poorest subjects?
Math.
Math. I guess everybody. What are like the struggles that you like find with it? Is it like really hard, or is it just like kind of a normal struggle?
It's pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it's pretty hard. Yeah. That was my first thing in college, was just to get rid of my math requirement. So I just
Yeah.
finished it in one class, just did stats. And that was it. I was done.
Yeah, I did stats too. That class was hard. It's a lot of work. How would you say that you interact with others? Do you like interacting with others? Are you good at it?
I'm very good at it.
Very
I'm very good at it.
good. Would you say that you enjoy interacting with others? Or
Well,
no?
do I enjoy it? That's an interesting question. Because I do consider myself more of an introvert, but thanks to public speaking, I have found that I just have a knack for meeting new people, socializing. I'm very good at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, not so much that it's like this overjoyous experience for you, but
Sure.
you're really good at it. It's
And-
like people who maybe don't like history, but they're like a history whiz. Like, I
Right.
hate, like, I'm not really into that class, but they know everything about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that whenever I go to social events, it tends to be reputation, or people will introduce me to people.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thrust into it. I'm very good at it, but yeah.
No, you're. Okay, occupational history. What is your current job right now?
Cook. Restaurant cook.
Restaurant cook. Restaurant. Oh, we're already on like page 3. Oh, page 2.
Cool.
I got all excited for a second. Okay. Describe past and present jobs that you've had. What were they? What did you do? Did you like them? Past and present.
Present, yeah, restaurant cook, really enjoy it. My dad likes to cook as well, so that's just something that just came naturally.
Yeah.
And the kitchen is actually an open kitchen in the front of the restaurant, so people can look over and they
Okay.
can see that I'm cooking. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of socializing. So luckily my public speaking skills do come into play there a lot.
Lots of talking and socializing. And public speaking, that's something that you've done and something that you had your hand in. Have you ever had any other past jobs?
The job before that, I was a delivery driver for Boston Market. It was a lot of big order catering to like Kaiser, big companies, so
Okay.
big corporate events,
Big order.
big orders. I carried thousands of dollars of food in my Camry. That was fun.
Any other jobs?
No.
We're gonna talk about therapeutic history.
Okay.
If there is any. We're almost done with like 4 more questions. Okay. Describe any speech therapy services you've had. This is including an evaluation and the therapy itself. And was this beneficial for you?
I did a therapist. So you're talking about just a therapist, or can it be like a speech therapist?
Speech therapy services.
Yes. I was enrolled from, I believe, I want to say preschool, kinder, first grade. That's when I was enrolled.
Okay. What was your experience with this?
Really, I don't remember too much,
Can't remember.
but it was a good experience. The speech teacher was very kind.
Okay.
Very, she was very patient.
Teacher was kind and patient.
Teacher was very kind and patient.
Would you say that this was beneficial in solving your fluency disorder, the stuttering?
It helped.
Helped.
It helped, but it did not solve it by any means necessary. I still had, it was still a pretty big issue.
Okay. There were other factors that you think contributed to kind of getting that under control?
Yes,
Yeah.
later. It was about freshman year, I want to say. That's when I really figured it out.
Was there anything in particular that helped? You think like one particular thing that really?
I started because I decided what my future was going to be, and it was going to be involving a lot of public speaking. So, because I want to be a history professor, and also perhaps I do want a future in politics, running for office. So,
Yeah.
public speaking is obviously a huge factor in that. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it was a self-discovery, and then also there was the biggest factor was an interview I saw with Sam Jackson, where he said that he had a stutter, and when
What was his name? Sam Jackson?
Samuel L. Jackson,
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I said Sam Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson.
where he said he had a stutter, and the interviewer was shocked, and he asked him, also, how did you get rid of it? And he says, I didn't. I still have it to this day. Only my family gets to see that side of me.
Okay.
And the way that he describes it is he sees it as a light switch on and off. So he acts like he doesn't have stutter, and that I really took that way of thinking. So now, so whenever I do speak, I just imagine a light switch.
And that concept of the light switch is what you really think like mentally helped you overcome it.
Helped a lot.
Okay.
I do still stutter to this day, but it's usually only with my parents, I would say.
Yeah.
With anyone else, I just imagine a light switch.
Okay. So that you think was probably one of the bigger factors.
That was
That
probably
helped
the factor.
The factor.
The
Okay.
factor. Yeah.
Do you think that had you never gone to speech therapy, you would have eventually kind of overcome that? Like, do you think that was maybe the start of it? Had you not gone to that, do you think you'd still struggle a little bit more?
I do think that was a factor that helped.
That.
Yeah. It was a positive thing for me to have gone. Yeah.
Almost like kind of got the ball rolling. It was like the first step in many.
Yes,
Okay.
in many steps. Yeah.
Okay. Were there any other intervention services that you went through other than the speech therapy?
Nope.
Nope. Even in school, was there any kind of intervention, like, from the school kind of stepping in when they noticed that you had a speech? Nothing
Nope.
from the school?
Nothing. There was one teacher though, it was my 6th grade teacher who really tried to help. Yeah, she was funny.
That's, in what way?
She was kind of like a drill sergeant, so whenever she would force me to read, and then she would say, so I would read it one time with a lot of stuttering, uhs, and she would say, okay, Carlos, we're gonna do this step by step, and she would have me slowly, meticulously say whatever I had to read over and over again, and that helped a lot too. Yeah, that helped.
Slowly.
Yeah.
And that was beneficial. You'd say that was definitely
Yeah.
a positive.
Yeah.
And then last one, family.
Okay.
Okay. What was the impact of this on your life or your family's life, do you think?
My stutter?
Yeah. Like, what impact did it have on you, and do you think that there was an impact that it had on your family, your parents, maybe?
I can't really speak to my family, but for me, it made me think before I talked, which I do think in life more people have to do, but yeah, me having to decide which words before I spoke, like I would have to think out a sentence before
Yeah.
I would actually speak it, so that, because I knew, oh, this word I have to avoid, like the plague, if it had a
Yeah.
W, S, P, any of those, yeah. So.
Do you have any kind of idea, maybe like your parents, your mom, maybe, if it had an impact on her, you know, like it was no big deal for her, if it was something that she really like dove into wanting to make sure it was solved, you know?
She didn't see too much of a problem. I mean, she did enroll me in those classes, but she did the way she saw it was, oh, he'll eventually start to get over it, which eventually I did. And her seeing where I want to go career-wise, it's been, she's astonished by that.
Almost like she knew you'd overcome it. She wasn't
Yeah.
worried about you.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you think that maybe by you having a stutter growing up, like it impacted any relationships within your family? Like maybe being able to communicate, was that hard for you within your family, growing up?
Like I said before, yes, because I always, I was a quiet kid, introvert,
Yeah.
and the big the center of that, the zeitgeist of that was the stutter, because I always wanted to make sure, because I didn't talk a lot as a kid, but
Like, did you avoid talking to your parents?
Yeah.
Like, even your parents, or were you more
not my parents. Well, not my mom.
your mom?
Not my mom.
Okay.
My mom was the one I would always, did not matter, always talk to. Everyone else, I always thought carefully of what I was going to say.
Was there a reason why maybe you talked more to your mom than your dad? Like, were you just more comfortable with your mom? Was she more engaged in talking?
She was
with you?
more engaged. I felt she was a teacher, so she dealt with kids more. She was just
You just naturally.
not to say that my dad is, because like I don't want to say too much bad about my dad, but I felt my mom was had more of a compassion center to her
Yeah.
than my dad.
And that's usually how it is. Like, dads are usually a little bit more,
Stern.
and moms are
Yeah.
usually more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just naturally felt like she was more of a comforter.
She literally had a degree to help
Yeah.
with children, so I felt okay. She's literally qualified to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Cool.
It was in 25 minutes.
Alright,
Too bad.
alright.
That's what I got it right. I was like, maybe about 30 minutes. We'll take. Perfect.
Very good.
Thank you. And I got like a whole 2 pages
Want me
of
to
info,
stop
and
this?
I still have to expand on it. So I will definitely meet my.
Can we turn this off?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just press that.